a lot of deals that the average U.S. citizen will never have any clue about. So there is some truth to what this man's saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, and ultimately, it is up to the party to select their nominee. And I get that. But to be so matter-of-fact about it, and he's one of the guys that is proposing this rule change. And he's notified each of the campaigns to let them know. And the rule that he's trying to change would allow any candidate who earns at least one delegate during the nominating process is able to be nominated at the convention. So if they earned even just one delegate somewhere, because they happen to get a certain percentage of the vote, he wants them to be able to be on that first ballot for the nomination. To me, again, it's frustrating that these things could even happen. Now, there have been some other sources there saying that changes to the binding delegates and all that is probably going to be unlikely. But I think there's going to be a push for this stuff, and it's going to destroy.
Well, should that rule happen, then that means everything from the night of February 1st until now no longer has any bearing.
Right.
Because the first delegates were elected the night of the Iowa caucus. So that puts Rand Paul back in the race, Carly Fiorina, Carson, heck, did Lindsey? I don't think Lindsey Graham got anything. Those three are automatically back into it should that rule take effect. And I got to tell you, of those three, Rand Paul's got the most dedicated and loyal following. He needs to be careful what he's asking for.
Yeah, I mean, this whole thing is it's frustrating to me, and it just pisses me off, though, the gravitas of this and this mindset of, well, just because we don't agree with who the voters put up, we're going to do our own kind of thing because we know what's best for you. Well, you son of a bitch, we put you there. You know what I'm saying? And this could be one of those things that, if it gets ugly, could break the Republican Party. Not only would it hand the presidency to Clinton, I think it would seriously see a rise of maybe a third party or some other option, which in the long run may not be a bad thing, but it just never. What's Rush Limbaugh's old saying? Never underestimate the Republicans' ability to lose. They're shooting themselves in the damn foot here.
Well, we've been shooting ourselves in the foot for many, many years. The hole is just now apparent.
I don't get it. I can't wrap my brain around it. I mean, there are so many, key issues at stake, and they're going to play these games, and it's all because they didn't get their guy. And to me, this whole issue and the fact that the old school guys are pushing back. It makes me want to vote for Trump or to vote for Cruz even more. If you find somebody that the status quo guys are against, and your political opponents are staunchly against, and they're doing all kinds of good things, I mean that should be your guy, right?
Okay, here's where I need to correct your thought process. You need to stop assuming that everybody in politics is out for the good of the people. There are elected officials, lobbyists, special interests, consultants. There are people out there that actually don't want their party to be in power.
Oh, I know.
Because they benefit more if they are not.
Yeah, I've actually said that on the show.
Those are the most dangerous.
Yeah, you were actually on vacation when I brought that up, and I had some folks kind of thinking I was a little crazy. But I do believe, I truly believe there's a big part of the Republican Party that does not want to win.
Because
right now they're getting all kinds of support, and they're able to raise kinds of money because they can say, hey, we're fighting these Democrat policies, we're fighting the good fight. But if you get that big chair, all of a sudden, those are your policies.
Exactly. as long as you're the backseat driver, you can tell somebody what they're doing is wrong. Mm-hmm. The minute you get in that driver's seat, that responsibility for getting where you need to go is on you.
Yeah, and that to me, that I understand it from that angle. It's dirty as hell. I don't like it, but I kind of see where they're coming from. But it goes back to that military mindset, I guess. It's lead, follower, get the hell out of the way sort of thing.
Look, both parties use this strategy. Mm. Republicans use it mainly in elections. Democrats use it mainly in their supporters. Mm-hmm. Look, as long as you're on social benefits, you have something to complain about.
Right.
The Democrat side. Republicans, well, we're trying, we're the underdog, but we're doing everything that we can. That gives them the ability to make really touching campaign commercials and send out literature and talk poorly about people. But the reality is, what a lot of people don't truly understand and believe when you and I try and explain this is that they do it on purpose. There's a certain martyrdom to both parties. There's a lot of woe is me attitude publicly when behind the scenes they're going, yep, we don't want to win.
Right.
We actually want second place because then we get the sympathy.
Yeah, and going into the if it goes a brokered convention, and let's just say for a moment that they do take it away from Trump or take it away from Cruz, if the person they put in there loses, then they can say, well, hey, we did our best, but we couldn't unify the party in time, and then they get to fundraise for the next election. So I think it's a big possibility, but it makes me absolutely sick as a person. As somebody who loves this country, it makes me it's sick.
Yeah. It's just, I've told you for years, as long as we've known each other, politics is dirty. Mm-hmm. But the politics of politics is dirtier.
Yeah, and we're really starting to get an inside glimpse at that a little bit. And I'm sure we're just scratching the surface, but I mean, just ridiculous to me. So I mean, again, we're still quite a ways away from this thing. And there is some talk that if it does go to a brokered convention, a contested convention, whatever the hell you want to call it, that it does not necessarily mean that Trump or Cruz isn't going to be the guy. If one of them goes in with a majority of these delegates, say they didn't hit the magic number, there's a lot of talk that, hey, we are still going to support whoever the majority is on that first ballot. So I mean, we could be pissing and moaning, and these guys could be scheming over nothing, but it still bothers me that the possibility is there, I guess.
Look, everybody's hedging their bet, and I guarantee from the same people talking to one candidate, oh, this is what we'll do for you, they're talking to another candidate saying the exact same thing. That's just the nature of the game.
And to be honest, that's part of the reason our country's in the state that it's in.
But I tell you, if Trump feels like the nomination was stolen from him at convention, I absolutely believe he will rip up that contract that the RNC had, that pledge that the RNC had him sign, and he will run as an independent. Oh, it wouldn't surprise me. And,
I think it would be a true independent, run. Let's face it, we are locked into this two-party system, and we've never really had a third party, not in recent history anyway, make a real challenge or a real run. That could get messy for Republicans, and actually it could hurt the Democrats too. But it's going to be interesting to see where this goes. What's the next big hit point for politics here?
Well, I would say this next debate. There's a lot of politics surrounding this next debate that Fox wanted to do. Mm. And like it or not, we're about to have a media outlet be used for political reasons in a different way than we have done before.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. All right, well, let's take a little break here, and when we come back, we'll get away from politics for a little bit. Some big-time news all across the board. We're going to hit on the Supreme Court announcement that came out today. Little update from on Russia and China, as well as North Korea. Some terrorism stuff, and some random stories there just kind of round out the day. So stick around, folks. We still got plenty of show left, and let everybody know they need to get it tuned in, because we're getting a little truth, a whole lot of honesty, and epic amounts of bearded badassery here on the Warfighter Eye. Guys, stick around. We'll be right back with you.
Bad as he bends to